I want to talk about the ContraPoints Reddit post about Gaza here for a second, because I, unlike most of the people who are going to be critiquing her and bitching about it, have been a supporter of her since 2018. Not just a subscriber, but a Patreon subscriber. And today, I canceled my Patreon subscription, but not for the reasons that most people are probably going to expect. I'm not going to read you the post because my goal is not to debunk the post. My goal is to help other people understand Natalie and people like Natalie, as well as maybe understand themselves better. In 2018, I didn't know what a liberal was, but I was definitely a liberal. At the time, I was just beginning my political education, and I was watching people like Destiny and Bosch, and so she was one of the first video essayists that I was consuming content from. She was teaching me a lot of fundamental philosophical lessons that I was interested in that became the baseline for my current political understanding, which is as an anarchist. Natalie is obviously on the left, but she has absolutely never come off to me as a communist or anarchist, because she has always parodied them as the tabby character who just wants to smash and isn't really thinking logically or critically about breaking down these systems.
We have the politicians against us, a media run by giant corporations, and a complacent white middle class that prefers order to justice. Opposition to leftism is hardly surprising. So let's accept that all of that's true. The game is rigged. Fine. Now, how do you respond to that situation? Do you change nothing about your strategy at all and then blame the system when the predictable happens? Or do you try to improve your rhetoric somehow? Look, I don't really need optics advice from a bougie queer aesthete who puts style over substance and thinks that shining a pink light on everything can cover up her counter-revolutionary Trotskyite tendencies. I mean, are you even a communist? No, I'm not a communist. Well, why not? I like stuff. I like this, and I like this, and I like this. And that's why I can't be a communist.
The emotion and feeling that I got from her post was that of someone who was afraid and anxious. And that is totally normal and natural in the world that we live in. And I find that in people that have a more liberal outlook, it's especially amplified because their only solutions to problems come around electoral politics or around specific moments in time, like midterm elections. And many people now have rightly pointed out that that seems to be a common feature of a lot of people who are in this leftist content creator space online who have become very successful, especially financially. It feels very similar to me, to what I've experienced with people in the tech world as I'm trying to talk more about things like unionization, is that once you start making X amount of money, you have a lot more to lose. They fear losing what they've built up. You know, they fear the conditions and the plans that they've created for their family, for the ones that they're taking care of, going away. And yeah, that's liberalism. It's centered around the self. But the thing I haven't seen people talk about is how she is also a trans woman. She is in a uniquely vulnerable position in our society. Same thing is true for people like PhilosophyTube, which is another person that has gotten a lot of hate. But she's at Turf Island, which is even worse than the United States in a lot of ways. And a lot of very vocal critics are men who can at least pass as cis. These are just different risk profiles. And that's why, although I was disappointed with what Natalie said, I wasn't surprised. Because that is just a part of what is happening right now as things unravel. The difference between a liberal and a social democrat and a democratic socialist are becoming far clearer. Look at the way the news is talking about Zoran Mandami, how terrified and angry they are of him. This is the difference between people who are trying to reform capitalism and those who are trying to build socialism.
A Harvard University poll last May showed that people between the ages of 18 and 29, not just Democrats, not just leftists, 51% of people between 18 and 29 no longer support the system of capitalism. But I wonder if there's anywhere you feel that the Democrats could move farther left to a more populist message, the way the alt-right has sort of captured this populist strain on the right wing, if you think we could make a more stark contrast to right-wing economics.
Well, I thank you for your question, but I have to say we're capitalist, and that's just the way it is.
As much as I would love Contra to be more vocal against the genocide in Gaza on her platform, I can accept that she is not because of the risks that are unique to her as the person that she is. But that doesn't mean she's above critique or that there are not things I think she should learn from this. Personally, I think people giving these types of creators money should expect more in transparency. Where is it going? What are they doing? I know because I've been a Patreon that she's been doing exclusive videos for that platform. Again, it's still very fair to say that that's not enough for the amount of money that she's getting. Other creators like H Bomber Guy are basically just silent until they drop something massive in your lap. I'm totally empathetic to the idea that it's difficult balancing life obligations and creation as someone who has a full-time job and has a YouTube channel. But I think it's totally reasonable for people that are doing this full-time to be far more communicative about what types of things they're working on. And the reason I canceled my membership isn't because I'm angry with Contra, it's because I thought I'd already canceled it back in 2023. A mistake I think we make on the left is putting too many eggs in any one person's basket because there's too many issues for any one person to take the lead on. When ContraPoints hit 1 million subscribers, I realized she didn't need my support anymore to succeed and continue making videos because she had gone into more mainstream popularity with liberals who are a larger percentage of our country. Watching ContraPoints led the algorithm to feed me smaller creators that were farther left, that I connected with more. And that's where my support started going instead. And I've grown a lot since 2018 when I started supporting Contra. I've outgrown basically every creator that I started watching back in 2018. This is normal and okay. It's a sign that you're learning and growing. So even though that I believe that liberalism is a failed ideology and that I have completely lost my faith in Democrats' ability to govern or bring us back from the brink of where we're at today, I can still work with people like Natalie, which is a lot of people in this country, but I can still clearly understand the difference. Because at the end of the day, there's one war, the class war, and it's socialism or barbarism.
I like your sunglasses.
Thank you. Do you like stickers?
Yeah.
I got stickers if you want some. You guys like motorcycle stickers?
Yeah, that's so cool.
Here you go. Yeah. Yeah, if you ever see a motorcycle guy wheeling around here, it's me, and you know, tell your parents to ignore it, and it's okay.